Hey, what's up guys, it's Darius, and Samsung just announced the new Galaxy S20 lineup and they all look awesome. I'm here to tell you though that if you're looking to pick up a new Samsung, you maybe want to consider its predecessor instead. Now don't get me wrong, Galaxy S20 is without a doubt better than S10. They have better cameras, a high refresh display, and better internals. However, all of that comes at a very hefty price. The Galaxy S20 starts at $1,000 in the US, and the S20 Ultra will run you $1,400. Now that is a lot of money. I've had Galaxy S10 ever since its release, which is 1 year ago now, and I've been very happy with it. With Galaxy S20 being available, the price has dropped even more. So let's have a look at Galaxy S10 1 year after its release and why you maybe want to consider it over the new Galaxy S20. As always, let's start with the design. Galaxy S20's design hasn't really changed too drastically. It's still a Samsung-esque metal and glass build. I think they both look quite good. There are new colors available for the S20, but overall they're very similar. The main distinguishing factor between the two is definitely the camera placement, which is horizontal on the S10 and vertical now on the S20. But to be honest, it doesn't really make a big difference, and I wouldn't say one necessarily looks better than the other. Other minor differences are the S20 is a little taller due to its larger display, and it has less curvature of the screen on the front. Now some might like that, others might not. But back to the S10, it's held up really well. I did not use a case, and there are a few scratches, but very minor ones, nothing really noteworthy. I did use a screen protector, which I've already had to replace because it was really scratched up, and by now the new one is in need of a replacement as well. The device is very ergonomic, many thanks to its curved back, which makes it sit really comfortably in my hand. It is however quite slippery, so be careful, and it also smudges a lot. By the way, if you absolutely prefer the look of the S20, you can also go with the Galaxy S10 Lite instead, which pretty much has the exact same design. In terms of the actual hardware, both the S20 and S10 have expandable storage, stereo speakers, and dual SIM support. The S10 however still has a Bixby button, which I'll be honest, I never use. It keeps the heart rate monitor, and it's one of the last flagship smartphones that still has a headphone jack. Now for some people, this really is a big deal. In terms of biometrics, they both have the same in-display fingerprint scanner. In my testing, it worked quite well. I'd say 8 or 9 times out of 10 it worked. Not annoying enough to disable, but it could still be better. Moving on to the display, Galaxy S10 has a gorgeous 6.1-inch AMOLED panel. It's one of the best screens on a smartphone. It's big, very bright, with punchy but accurate colors. Galaxy S20 has a very similar display, however it's 0.1 inches larger and has 120 Hz. This means all of the content will appear much smoother than on the S10 for example. Now I'll admit this is definitely an awesome feature, however there is a catch. It only works in 1080p. If you select Quad HD in the settings, it will automatically go back to 60 Hz. Both the S10 and the S20 have a small display cutout. The S10 has it on the top right hand corner and the S20 has it in the middle. I've used it on the Note 10, which also has it in the middle, and I'll be honest, there's no real difference whatsoever, although it does look a little cleaner when it's in the middle. Moving on to software and performance, back in December it was updated to One UI 2.0, which is Android 10 based. It changed a few minor things. It got some smoother animations, a dark mode, a redesigned camera app, and you can now choose between Samsung's and Google's navigation gestures. Samsung was really on top of the game when it came to software updates. Security updates dropped around the same time as it did on the Pixels, which is very impressive. The February security patch was released on around February 5th or something like that, which is really good. Overall, the software was very stable, I had no issues whatsoever, and performance was very good as well, and handled everything without a problem, and it never really slowed down or crashed. As far as I know, Galaxy S20 will have pretty much the exact same software, and while it does have better internals, performance all around the board should be quite similar. Moving on to battery, in 1 year of usage, battery life has decreased a little bit, but it's still quite good. I used mine in full resolution and kept the always on display enabled. On a heavy day, it died in the evening, but with more moderate usage, it lasted me through a day no problem. I'd say I got an average of 4 hours of screen on time. Charging was also quite fast, which is always nice, and it also supports wireless and even fast wireless charging, latter of which I never thought I'd use because I considered it a gimmick, but I did end up using it a few times. When I forgot to charge my headphones, for example, it came in quite handy, and I could just get maybe half an hour of listening time out of them using the reverse wireless charging. Although I'll be honest, it is really, really slow. Lastly, let's address the camera, actually cameras. The Galaxy S10 has a triple camera setup, a regular wide, an ultra wide, and a telephoto. Galaxy S20 actually has a very similar setup, although with improved cameras. The regular wide shooter is still a 12 megapixel sensor, however it has a physically larger sensor now. It's at f1.8, which is interesting because the S10 had a variable aperture where it could switch between f2.4 and f1.5, which was very handy in low light. I can't really tell you anything about the quality of the S20's cameras, but I'm sure they're gonna be great. The ultrawide on the S20 isn't quite as wide as the one on the S10. It has less resolution but larger pixels, but the biggest difference is definitely found on the new telephoto lens, which now has a 64 megapixel sensor instead of a 12 megapixel one, and it's 3 times optical zoom instead of just 2 times optical zoom. Now the Galaxy S10, while it doesn't take the best pictures on any smartphone, it's still quite good. The images it produces are very sharp and detailed. They tend to come out very bright with vivid colors, and for the most part they really look good. For low light, it has a new night mode, which works quite well, and overall it's a very versatile and good camera. 2 things to add: I know it doesn't shoot 8K video, but let's be honest, when are you ever going to be using that? And the other thing is, the selfie camera of the S10, at least on paper, is better than the one on the S20, which I found a little weird. It has larger sensor and a larger aperture, so I don't know what that is about. Now I'm sure the cameras on the S20 are better than the ones on the S10, but what I'm saying is the ones on the S10 are still very capable. To conclude, 1 year after its release, Galaxy S10 is still a great smartphone, and in fact it's very similar to the Galaxy S20. I'd say for most people the S10 is more than enough. Go ahead and save around $300 to $350, plus you also get a headphone jack, which is always nice. Now you are going to be missing out on a few things, namely the high refresh display, which is awesome for sure, and the new cameras. Then again, the biggest camera difference is found on the Galaxy S20 Ultra, and that literally costs more than double the price of the S10. You have to decide for yourself if that's worth it to you. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to smash the like button, leave a comment down below if you have any questions or feedback, and make sure you're subscribed for my upcoming S20 videos. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.